Good afternoon. Welcome to my home and into my kitchen here at All Things Kitchen. Tonight, I don't have to make dinner. We have some leftovers in the refrigerator and some things that we need to eat out of the refrigerator. So I don't have to cook tonight, but I'm going to. This is another episode of Pick Your Battles. So I have bacon, and more bacon. I say I'm cooking. I'm really just putting it on a cookie sheet and putting it in the oven. So pick your battles. I don't like cooking bacon, but I like bacon. So it's so much easier to do it all at once. And I do it in the oven. And then after it's cooked, then I can freeze it and pull it out when I need to. How about you? Do you do any food prep that helps you, your future self, for something you don't like to do? Maybe let's just get it done and over with and do it all at once. And then that way you have it. So I'm going to wash my hands, cut up these packages, and we're going to have a little chat about some things. So I have this, now this is a very large cookie sheet. This is a full-size baking sheet. It's not like a half sheet cookie sheet that most home bakers use. And I will show you. That takes up the entire oven space. It's a little warm in the kitchen already. Set the timer for that. I love that extra large baking sheet for certain things. I pretty much only use it on certain items, bacon being one of them, because I like to fill it and then cook it. Try to get it all done in one batch. But as you can see, that did not get all the bacon on there. I still have 2.5 packages left. That was only 1.5 packages. So as it shrinks, I'll adjust and put more in there when that's done cooking and pull those out, and we'll just do it in batches. That's fine. So what I wanted to talk to you guys about a little bit is preparing food prep. I did a little bit of food prep with the strawberries on the last video, and what else did I do? Stuff. Oh, pancake mix. That's kind of like food prep, right? As well as some other things. My plan was to cook the bacon and also cook up some sausage and get that in the freezer, but I didn't take the sausage out of the freezer to defrost. This came straight home from the grocery store and has been sitting in my deli drawer for a couple of days, and I need to take care of it. And since I don't have to cook dinner tonight, I can go ahead and take that time that I would have used to prepare dinner and just kind of do some food prep instead. Very simple. It's not going to be as detailed as cooking a full dinner, obviously. Just sticking stuff in the oven. But food prep is really a blessing to your future self if you have the time and the drive to take a few moments on maybe just doing one item, or even take a couple of hours and get a whole bunch of stuff ready. it really, really is a blessing to your future self. And I don't know any other way to say it. And that's a pick your battle. I would rather cook all of this bacon at once and make this mess at once and clean up the mess one time than cooking 4 packages of bacon at 4 different times. And bacon is messy. It's greasy, and it's messy. But I also want to show you what I do with my bacon grease after it's done cooking. So I will show you that when the bacon's done. In the meantime, hold on. While the bacon is cooking, I have one other thing that I need to prep. This is dog food. This is dog food. And as you can see, it's a very large package of dog food. I think it's 5 pounds, 6 pounds. This is 6 pounds. So obviously I can't just give this to my dog and have him eat it. So I am going to take some time to prep that, chop that up, put it in some containers and get it back in the refrigerator. My doggy is a very picky eater and he likes the refrigerator food. I have even tried to can his own food for him with chicken, peas, and carrots. And he loves all of those ingredients separately. Didn't like it so much when I canned it. Weirdo, right? So anyway, excuse me. So anyway, I'm going to take a few moments and chop that all up into bite-sized pieces for him and put it into some containers and put that back in the refrigerator. And this will last me a little bit. So I will bring you back when the bacon's done and I can show you what we do with the bacon grease. So one chore is completely done. I wouldn't normally cut up all that dog food all at once. I would just cut a chunk off enough to fill a container. But our son's going to be taking care of our dog for us for a little bit. And it's just easier if I cut up all the food for him. So I'm going to put this in the refrigerator. Check. One job done. I did decide I wanted to speed up the process a little bit, and I got one of my regular cookie sheets that I'm going to put in the oven. My first day in the kitchen, I didn't know what drawer my hot pads were in. You ever do that? I'm going to fiddle with this bacon a little bit. Oh, it smells like bacon heaven in here. Now, I could have put like a cooling rack on this tray so that the bacon wasn't floating in the grease. But I'm doing my future self a favor because I hate cleaning those racks. So I'm saving my cooling racks for cooling my cookies and cakes on. And I'm just cooking the bacon straight on the tray. Getting in all those nooks and crannies is a chore I don't like, so I try to avoid it if possible. Actually just had a air fryer basket that I had cooked pizza on, and the cheese melted all into the little nooks and crannies. And I had to soak that thing 3 times and scrub on it because you walk away, get busy with something else, and then it's still dirty. All right, I'm going to put this back in the oven And so we have this big rack, this big tray cooking, and then the regular size tray cooking. And I still have 1.5 packages of bacon left. So all the dog food's cut up. Bacon is almost done. I've got it on convection. I'm actually going to put it on convection bake, which the air rotates and the heat sources from the bottom. Convection roast, heat sources from top and bottom. And with the convection, it swirls the air around. I seem to like that. I don't know. This is my air fryer bacon. And bacon. It's my air fryer bacon. My air fryer tray. And my oven has an air fryer option. So we cook via the air fryer in our oven. And I love these little trays. We got 2 of them. 2 came in a set. They're very, very nice. But these are really nice if you don't have something like this to cook in your air fryer. I know probably most people have the countertop air fryers, but like I said, we have the oven ones, so these are really nice. I mainly just use my air fryer to reheat things, or maybe cook like French fries in, frozen French fries. Something like that, like frozen fish sticks or the fish fillets. I've cooked those in there. I haven't gotten real adventurous with it. I haven't really tested it to see what like really cooking in it is, instead of just reheating. So if you have anything that you cook in your air fryer, let me know. I'd be very interested in trying out some new things instead of just reheating my food. I'd love to get some ideas from you guys. It would be much appreciated. I'm going to go sit down for a few minutes while this bacon is finished cooking. I went straight from work into working in the kitchen. And I'm warm. It's hot. I'll be right back. Got my paper towel right here. Put my bacon on, coming right out of the oven. So we're just going to drain it a little bit and let it cool off before we stick it in the freezer. Here we go. So I'm just going to refill this pan and get more bacon cooking. Free steam facial. Oh, okay. So I'm going to put this last batch here in the oven. Oh, nothing like cooking bacon on a hot day. Oh, goodness. This was supposed to be thick cut bacon, but some of it seemed semi okay with the thickness. Others seemed really thin. Like that's why it's tearing off the sheet. Some of these aren't cooked all the way. I'm pour my bacon grease into my jar. And I'm going to lay these back out and get these back in the oven to cook for another 5-7 minutes or so. So I thought I'd bring you out to see some of my garden. It is not impressive or anything. It's just I am fairly new to gardening. I grew lettuce last year, so that's why lettuce is growing out of the cracks on the pavement right there and also right there. I think it's fun that it's growing there, so I'm leaving it. Here I've got some basil growing. I planted something here. I don't know what this is. I'm going to have to try to figure that out. But it's growing flowers. But I don't think I planted any flowers in this green stalk. And something's already eating up on my basil. And then I've got, that's remnants of a blackberry bush that never took off. The rest of it died, so we replanted that. And I've got some dill growing here, which I definitely need to get in there and get some of those weeds out. Now this green stalk on the bottom, I'm growing more radishes. Those are white radishes that I'm growing down there. I think they're called icicle radishes. And then the rest of these are flowers. And some of them started blooming last night. So we've got the start of one right there. And my flowers are blooming. They're so pretty. And I have a tomato plant. This is a cherry tomato plant, an Everglade tomato actually, and some Cuban oregano down there at the bottom. And then in here, these are the sweet peppers that we have. We've already pulled a couple of off and cut some up and put on our pizza. There's some. It's just loaded up. You can see all the little babies. They're not going to get very big because they are small peppers anyway, but these small ones are so cute. And they're just everywhere. We've got, oh, this is a decent sized one. That one, whoops, sorry. This one right here. That's about the size that they're going to get. They're not going to get any bigger than that. They will change colors though. I'll get red, yellow, green ones out of here. It just depends on the ripeness of them. And orange, and orange. And got a couple of baby. The Everglades are very, very small. You can see, like this one is not much bigger than my fingertip. Everglade, they're small and sweet. Right here, I have, these are called Tom Thumb, and these are snap peas. And you can see I have little baby snap peas on there growing. There. And I've got a couple of more over there. And they've got some peas growing. That's this sad looking thing is a pineapple plant. We've gotten 2 or 3 pineapples off of that. I have some tomato seedlings right here. These are Roma and San Marzanos. And up here I have some Paul Robeson. These are Ukrainian purple and Cherokee purple. I think I need to water these. And another pineapple plant right here with a bamboo growing in it. Oh, actually the bamboo is next to it. It was just leaning over. But we've gotten several pineapples off of that as well. We have green onions growing in a lot of different places. Some of them are very wild and blooming. That's what this is. This is an onion bloom. So we're letting that go to seed. But I have harvested from these several times and made onion powder out of this. Just cut these off, dehydrate them, and make some onion powder. And this plant right here with the nasty looking thorns, this is, oh, I think this is a new lime. We had a lemon in there, a Myers lemon, and it died. And we had a lime tree growing where the peppers are growing right now, and it died. Right here, this is looking very sad. This is leftover from last year. It did not die completely, and it's coming back. This is jalapeno, and you can see I've got a couple of baby jalapenos on there. I can't remember. Let me see. I've got another little one right here that's hanging on, and it's looking pretty sad. This is not a peno, so it's a jalapeno without the heat. And this one as well, looking pretty sad, but there is something trying to grow on it. So I thought those were dying off and I'd given up on them. But it looks like they're trying to come back. So we kind of have a jungly mess in here. Outside of that patio, our pool patio there, we have some strawberries growing. And this one right here is vining. We've got 3 vines off of it, and that's just wonderful. And then I have some more tomato plants over here. And these are a little bit bigger than the ones inside. These are more cherry size. I'm at the point every day where I am harvesting a good maybe 7 or 8 tomatoes. And here's another volunteer that's growing out of the cracks from last year. I'm going to bring you over to my new garden bed, and it's not completely planted out yet, but it's a work in progress. We just went last weekend and this past week, and bought more dirt for it, more soil, and I think I'm going to leave it the way that it is now rather than trying to fill it to the top, because it's costing me a fortune. It's a big bed. Let me show you. So right now we just have this handful of tomato plants in here. That one, that sad one down there at the end, was actually a branch that broke off when I was trying to put the cage on one of the other ones, and the branch broke off. And I know it looks sad, but it is hanging in there. It's been in here for a couple of weeks, and I've added more soil to it. So, but I'm going to get a lot more stuff growing in here. And I have one more thing to show you. That is, it's volunteers growing out of my original compost pile that we had out here in our backyard. And as you can see, it's very sunny out right now. This may be hard to see the plant from the ground, because it is literally growing up out of the ground. We had like I said, a compost pile that we used to just throw here in the corner of our property. And then we got a compost bin. Well, last year I was growing tomatoes in this area right here. This is really our corn bed, if you will, where we were growing corn. And I had a bunch of tomato plants. I've talked about this in a previous video. I had planted some seeds. They weren't labeled as tomato, but a whole bunch of tomatoes popped up out of it. And so that's what I grew in here. I transplanted those to in here, and I had some green plastic like netting that I was trying to trellis the plants to. It wasn't very successful in the Florida heat. That green plastic stuff that we had it didn't last. It just deteriorated too fast. And but this is where I got most of my harvest of tomatoes from last year that I made my tomato sauce with and whatnot. And anything that went bad, a bug got in it and started eating away or whatever before it ripened, I just threw it over here in the old compost bin, pile, not bin. And let me show you. So this entire area, I don't know how many tomato plants are in here. A bunch. And you can see we've got green tomatoes just and at different stages of ripening here. Just tomatoes everywhere. And so I've been coming out here and sticking my hand in this mess. And I'll have you know, I found a snake egg out here. And we do have black snakes, so I'm not worried that it's anything dangerous. Black snakes don't scare me. But you can just see the volume of tomatoes that we have. There's some over there. There's some right here. It's crawling over. I've got an elephant ear plant right here. That is an orange tree. Behind that orange tree, we have 2 coconut palms. Trying to make sure I don't fall into a hole or something. This is a sad looking apple tree. We're trying to get a little harvest here. A little orchard, I should say. But the yard's a disaster. I mean, I'm not gonna sugarcoat anything. Last year I tried to get this all ready to make garden beds, and these are just all weeds. It's just a disaster. But we're working on it. You can see we've got dirt here off to the side. I've got some bags of dirt. But I don't think I'm going to use those for the garden bed. I think I'm going to use those in my green stalks. And I know my channel is called All Things Kitchen, and I have you outside, but everything that I grow will eventually end up in my kitchen. So I wanted to share it with you. So you've already seen me bring in some a radish, and I don't know if I've showed you any of the tomatoes or not. I don't remember. And we've already harvested a couple of the sweet peppers, and it's not organized. It's not neat and clean. It's a big mess. That soil is so barky that I need to replace the top layer. But that's where we're at. Now we're going to come back in and check the last of our bacon. And if it's done, then I can show you. My doggy's following me. If that's done, then I can show you what I do with the bacon grease. And the timer must have went off, and my husband took it out of the oven for me. So sweet. Be right back. So, oven's off. We've got some pretty crispy bacon here. It's going to be delicious. Some of this bacon is cooked at varying levels of doneness, which is fine, because when I go to use it, I can decide whether I want a crispy piece or a softer piece. If it is on the softer side, I can always crisp it up. I stick it in the microwave for a minute or so, stick it in the air fryer, stick it in a pan with whatever I'm cooking, all of that, all of the things. So don't let something like a super crispy piece of bacon and a very floppy piece of bacon turn you off, because you get to control from here how it goes. Now I have this bacon grease from the other pan, and I'm going to pour this bacon grease in there. Okay, we're going to let this pan cool down before we clean it. A little piece of bacon fell on the counter. Sacrificial piece of bacon. So, what I have here, I'm going to bring it over. It's a little cooler in this spot than right in front of the oven. Put that over there. Okay, I have my kettle, and I'm going to boil that water. And I'm going to pour that water into my grease. I'll show you. Okay, my water is boiling. I'm going to pour some boiling water in here. Doesn't really matter how much, just some. I'll put the lid on it. And I'm going to give this a shake. And I'm going to put this in my refrigerator upside down. And what's going to happen is the fat and the water are going to separate, and it's going to clean out the impurities. If you're wondering why I turn the jar upside down, it's because the fat, the grease, rises to the top, and then the water is down here. And so when this hardens in the refrigerator, which it will, it would do it at room temperature if I didn't live in Florida. But it will harden in the refrigerator, and then the fat will be up here, and then this is the water. So once this is hardened, then I just go over to the sink, turn it right side up, unscrew it, and dump the water out. Do it again if need be. By pouring the boiling water in here, then that will soften up the bacon grease that did harden up. I could also just leave it out on the counter and it would soften up here in Florida, but that is why I turn it upside down. And I wanted you to see that beautiful separation. And so you're not left with watery bacon grease or anything like that. It doesn't happen. It separates. I also wanted to show you my beautiful tomatoes that I was talking about that I went out and showed you in the garden. So these are the ones that I'm getting a good handful a day. And it will ramp up to where I have to harvest morning and night, depending on if it rains. But the reason being is because if it rains and these are almost ripe, then they will split open on me. So it's getting to the point where I'm going to have to start checking morning and night to harvest my tomatoes. But they are just beautiful red balls of deliciousness. They're so pretty. And I grew those. Well, some of them I grew. Some of them grew on their own. They're volunteers. And this is my last jar that I did that with. And you can see that it's pretty white. It's pretty clean. And I can use this for frying up something, for cooking something. If I just need a little bit of fat, right in there. Nice and clean. It doesn't have a smell. I don't smell anything. I wasn't trying to taste it, but I accidentally touched my lips. So that's what I do with my bacon grease after I'm done cooking a big batch of bacon, and it comes out nice and clean. So this is the finished product of what I just showed you and put in the refrigerator. And this will be the finished product that will go into the freezer of my cooked bacon. And I will probably get 2 or 3 of those bags, depending on how much I bundle them in paper towels. That roll's getting a little low, and I told you in the last video I don't really like using paper towels, but I have to do it for this project. So that's picking your battles, cooking all the bacon all at once instead of breaking it up into 4 different batches. It's April now, so it's gonna be getting really warm here in Florida, and the last thing I need is to turn my oven on every time I want bacon. And now I don't have to, because I did it once, and I'm going to have a lot of bacon. And I bought that bacon on sale. 2 of those I know for sure I only paid $3.99 a pack for. So get your bacon when it's on sale, cook it up, and then stick it in the freezer. Don't bring it home and stick it right in the freezer, because then you've got to remember to defrost it, and then you've got to cook it up. This way, I already have cooked bacon. So we can have a BLT, we can have breakfast with bacon as a side. I can make a casserole and put some bacon crumbles in it if I want to. It's endless what we can do with bacon, right? Just kind of reach in the bag and pull out a piece and nibble on it. My husband's grinning at me. He's like, yeah, I want some bacon. I went to go give you a piece, but you were outside, so sad you missed.
I had a little tiny piece.
Oh, he stole it when he took it out of the oven.
No, it was one that you already had. So it was just a tiny piece that was sitting over there, cooled
just
down.
A tiny piece.
But that was good. It's not real salty, that brand.
I cooked 2. There's 2 different brands, so I don't know which one you had. So anyway, I appreciate you hanging out with me today, as we did not need to cook, but I gave future me a blessing by cooking up all of this bacon, and even current me, because I get to nibble on it right now. But now current me needs to clean up the bacon mess. So I appreciate you hanging out with me. I hope you have a great day. I hope you have a great week, and I'll see you next time. Take care.